Let's get it.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to 6-7 Social Podcast. We live again. We got myself, Toya, aka Toya Boo. We got Solid Gold over here.
Man, it's been a while, y'all. C7 Social. Thank you. It's an honor.
We got OG Ty over here.
You know what I'm saying? Be
Solid
sitting
Gold.
here.
Culture.
Yep. So
Toy culture.
today we interviewing Michael Q Boy, aka Brooklyn.
Know that. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Appreciate it.
Come on now.
Let's go, man.
Yes.
It's an honor, really. For me. I thought I was gonna wait in the back to see it.
Oh man,
It's
I'm
love to see
glad
you up
that
here
y'all
now.
interviewing me. I'm truly looking forward to this one.
Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
This is dope. I like this one.
Yeah, man. You know, you the only comic book creator I know.
Echo that.
You the only.
Same.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, hey, it's the first time for everything, right?
Know that.
So,
Know
hey,
that.
I'm glad I was the first guy y'all ever met that wanted to do something like this and has actually been doing it.
As me being a comic book fan, and I'm like into it, I like your creativity just offhand and seeing your covers, and then how you been explaining on your work ethic. Very amazing, brother. I'm a fan of it.
Thank you.
I'm a fan of the comic book world. We got you. We got to put you in line, man. The brigade, man. Look out. Yeah. Hey, Marvel, y'all got competition now.
Yes, they
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Brooklyn, I'm gonna call you Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's
You prefer
fine.
to be called Brooklyn. So Brooklyn is the founder of Bunny Pop Press. So Brooklyn, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so years ago, long story short, I basically started my own comic book publishing company. So the long of it, or the short long of it, is in grad school back in 2011, 2012, I was getting my MFA, so my third degree in writing. And I had a chance to like learn how to do publishing. And I basically had a class where we had to start our own small publishing press and publish books. Here's the ironic thing. The first thing I ever published was a book of poetry.
Okay.
And it wasn't my poetry, but I had to find an author, had to do everything from promotional work to finding a place to print the thing. So it gave me the foundation to like learning how to publish. And then I kind of kept that business in the back of my head, and I've always wanted to do comics. So as life kept life, and I kept learning more things about just writing, the different background of like business, publishing and things like that, I realized, wait, I can do this myself. I didn't need to wait to go to a Marvel or a DC, Image, or any of these other companies to do something I love to do. I learned how to do everything. So I had already had the publishing company from grad school, so I just made it official back in 2020, got my LLC, and I've been running with it ever since.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I did, that was one thing I always made sure I did with every step of this. I wanted to make sure that everything legally that I needed to have taken care of was taken care of before any of my creativity was put out there. So like when I started the company, I made sure I got all my legal documents in order, like so I can go to my lawyer and, hey, verify this, is this good? Send that stuff off. Once I got all my information back from my LLC, great. Even with my comic book creations, I didn't show or promote anything until I had all of my copyrights back. Until I knew it was official with the government, hey, if anybody puts this out there that's not my company or me, I'm gonna sue the shit out of you, type of deal.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like, and that's just us being black people just learning just how we get screwed over with our creativity, because we'll take it to somebody else, they'll run with the idea, figure out a way to squeeze you out, and then you left, you know, holding an empty bag, or like, oh man, that was my idea, and you got a bunch of people saying, well, how did you protect it?
Right.
So,
But
yeah.
But let's really break this down and really be honest though. Was Marvel and DC a real route
For me?
in the beginning? Hear me out on this. So imagine how many people or how many comic book creators are trying to submit their work to Marvel and DC. Did you in the beginning really feel like that was a real route for you to go to submit that, and they would actually?
So when I was like high school age, I submitted some stuff to Marvel. I got rejected. I still got the rejection letters to this day.
They actually had the time to even reject you?
Yeah, they had the time. They took the time to reject.
Did they give you detail why?
No, I just got the rejection letter saying that
Very
I wasn't,
generic.
Yeah, very generic, but
Okay.
it was my motivation. Like I really I can be perfectly honest, I really had no desire to work for Marvel or DC.
Okay.
When I started ranking comic books, yes, I love the characters. Y'all hear me talk about them all the time. But I've always wanted to do my own characters. You can't do that if you work for Marvel DC. You write a character for them, they own that character. So you may introduce a new character or a new group of characters into their universe, but like I was saying, like with how a lot of us black people get misused with our creativity, it's the same thing. They can say, oh yeah, thanks for this creation, fire you. Bring in somebody new to write the characters, write the story, and that's it.
Yeah.
So like my thing is, I know I'm good enough to write for those companies, and I say that now more than even 20 years ago when I first got rejected from them. But I have no desire to work for them. I want you to come read what I'm doing. Like if I ever get a chance, when I get a chance to write for them, it'll just be on a short-term basis, and that should still promote my work.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I like it, don't get me wrong. It's the thing that got me into reading. It's the thing that got me into writing. But it's not the end-all, be-all for creators.
Okay.
It just seemed like a not saying that you were discouraged or you should have been discouraged, but it just seemed like a high mountain to climb right from the start, right? And knowing, and we don't want to throw the race card in there, knowing you're a black man, knowing that you got something fresh and new that, I mean, think about how many people, it's just like the rap industry, think about how many people making songs every single day, submitting. I can tell you. That had to be, you have to believe in yourself on a whole other level to say, man, let me submit this to Marvel. I got a shot with this.
Yeah, and that was okay. I have no fear, so I didn't at the time. I didn't know what I didn't know. I just knew, okay, I'm into writing comics. This was like me fresh out of college, very cocky about my writing.
Okay.
And so it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna submit this to Marvel. I forget how long it took them to give me a response, but it was like he said, it was a generic. No, that's not what we're not what we're looking for. But at the same time, by that point in time, when I did get rejected, I had already seen like other forms of my creativity get out there. I had published a couple of short stories by that point in time.
Okay.
I had published a research article about that point in time. I started to work behind the scenes, learning the different aspects of editing. So yeah, Marvel was a shot in the dark. And hey, if I would have got in my 20s, it would have been awesome. But that wasn't the road for me. Like I realized this, and I have to take nothing away from how I had to live my life and get to where I had to get to. But every step was a process in me learning how to do this on my own. Yeah. So even from that rejection, it could have made me really mad where I was like, screw Marvel, screw comics. No, it was just like, cool, y'all don't want me, I want me. I'm just gonna do it harder.
Okay.
So, and then learning like the background, learning to edit, learning just the different processes of publishing, it helped me get to this point where, yeah, it takes a while to put these things together, but it doesn't faze me. It's like I look more forward to putting the comics together than the final product now.
We about to get into all
that. So tell us a little bit more about comics, though. Like, what is it in there? What's your interest? Like, why are you interested in comics?
So this goes back even further. When I was younger, about single age, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I used to struggle terribly with reading. I was bad at it. Like math, science, I was pretty good at in school, but reading I struggled with. And I remember having classes where we had to get up and read, and I was definitely terrified. I just didn't want to do it. So I had a father, my pops, God rest his soul. He was big into comics growing up, and he would always talk about the different characters he liked and different things like that. So he basically one day just got me a stack of comics to try to help encourage me to read, because he would always say that he had a teacher that was like, hey, if you read anything, whether it's a comic, a comic strip, something, as long as you're reading, your brain is growing. So he basically just got me a stack of comics, and initially I was terrible at it, but the pictures, the images in the comics kept me entertained.
It's telling a story.
It's telling a story.
Without
so,
words.
and then this is back in the day before internet. I used to, when I first started reading comics, I would have a dictionary next to me. And I would read comics, and for every word I didn't know, I'd be looking through the dictionary.
Got it.
And that's literally what.
Too.
Yeah, and that's what got me into reading. And so.
And expanded vocab.
Yeah, vocab. And then simultaneously, that got me into wanting to write. It's like, oh my God. And I never forget this. So this story kind of piggybacks off of that story. So a couple of years I've been reading comics by this point. And I was with my mom, God rest her soul, at a job she was working. And I was reading this comic. I won't say the comic, but it was a terribly written comic.
Okay.
I mean, just the pacing was off, and it was just like one of my favorite characters. It had Spider-Man in it, and I never forget. I would go to my
Just
mom.
told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you, but Spider-Man.
Right.
But yeah, so I remember going to my mom like, man, this comic is trash. I could do better. My mom, being the G she was, she just grabbed a stack of white papers and dropped it in front of me. Prove it. And that was it. I was off.
Wow.
Like I started because my thing was I wanted to be an artist and a writer. So I started by creating my own comic book characters, and then I would write my stories. And initially I didn't know how to write comic book stories. I just emulated what I saw. So panels, word balloons, and things like that. But it let me start learning how to write stories. And that kind of kept me going into the point where I transitioned from trying to write comic books to actually writing. So I picked up writing short stories, and over time just developing my storytelling skills and just my knowledge of writing stories. But it was always, the foundation was always comics. And I realized over the years the reason I wanted to write comics is because I always wanted to write it for that kid that I used to be. So like I said, I had problems reading. So my thing is, even when I go
makes so much sense.
Yeah, even when I go to conventions, my biggest thing is if I run into a kid look like me or something, and they're like, "Oh, this is the first time I'm reading a comic," or here, because I know what it was like, and then this is what it got me into reading. Which, had I not had comics, a lot of things in my life wouldn't have happened. It opened up so many avenues for me. So it was I feel like it's my way of giving back. And then, like I said, I grew up reading a lot of comic books where there's a lot of white people in the comics. No offense, I love the characters, but I can count on one hand all the amazing black characters or brown characters, Latino characters. So for me, it was like, wait a minute, I want to write something and do something that's reflective of me and what I know. The world that's around me is bigger than just all the white people in Manhattan or, folks down in Florida, spring break type of deal, just we do amazing things. So it's when I was coming up with my comics, that was always something in the back of my mind. It's they're gonna look like me, these characters. So when I got a chance to actually put my money where my mouth is, that's kind of where it landed.
I want to say this. So when I was in grammar school, I was trying to write comics too. We used to take a piece of paper, the regular piece with the lines, we'd fold it in half,
Cartoons.
and then we would write. But what you will find out immediately is, even when you get into comics and buying them, is it's not like it's just easy reading and it's cartoon. This is actually it's a lot of character development going to it, and you are actually still reading. It's not oh, I don't like reading books, let me read a comic. Shit, it's a lot of these comics, man. You'd be like,
they be more complex than some books you read.
It's a lot. So you will find out real easy that it's just not no easy thing where it's just cartoon bubble, write a few lines and let the pictures do all the talking. It still has to be a story. And you still have to put effort into the characters and the development of the actual story. So that's a big feat, man. This is crazy. And then the art. I know we're gonna get into that too, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You good? Solid?
Yeah.
You
I'm
good?
with y'all.
Okay.
I'm in my bump.
I'm interested. I'm stuck on the art. So
that's what I was looking at too.
Who?
Okay, so I have.
Did you create the art?
Okay, so the characters are my creations. So I created all the characters.
How many characters you have? Really quick. I just
overall, not just in this comic, but overall, I have over 120 characters.
Really?
Yes. So I can let y'all in. I have 4 different comic projects that are in my pipeline. This is the first.
Okay.
So with that, the way my mind works with writing, I just can't write one story. I have to write everything. So
the story represents the character?
Okay, so with First Brigade, it's a little different because the way I write First Brigade is it's more of go for it. It's more in a serialized storytelling style. So each issue is its own individual story. So issue 1 that you both currently y'all have different versions of it's the same story, different covers. So that issue is all 7 of the characters of the comic book and a story together. And then the second issue is a completely different story involving just two of the characters.
It's so dope. Like I don't even want to open it. I
I swear to God. I'm like, we creating
Ty,
the dead.
let's just pass it around.
There you go, right?
Okay.
It
I was
looks
like,
so
I said, we
good.
creating the
Lord
deadly
have mercy.
sin right there by actually opening it.
Yeah, but, so-
that's
Cause it's gonna blow and you gonna be like the first
Yeah,
one to
it's really
open up.
good.
Like, hey, nah, y'all got y'all's open.
Because you know they don't really they got a
Mine
copy
sealed.
that they
Nah.
probably look at, and then they got one that they
What
keep
they
sealed
really do,
up.
they read it one time, put it out. What we used to do, we used to read Eyes in the Dark one time.
And you
fold
would
it
barely
up.
open it, like because that's how my pops used to read.
Yeah.
It. He would barely open it, and he would like kind of
I'll
read
do
it.
this, yup. and then put it in.
And
there.
put it
I
up,
don't
put it
even
back
touch
in-
it. Yep. You got.
And so, like with him, I would just buy him 2 copies. Like if my pops was around to this day, I would literally have to give him 2 copies of this book. I would
Yeah.
give him one because he would never open it.
That's
and
how
then-
we would do.
And I would have to give him another one because, like, please read it.
That's the one
Because if
that I'm
not, he
reading
would
it,
never
'cause that's
read the
the one
book.
you
He's like,
don't
no,
open.
I gotta save him. Like,
Yeah,
read the
yeah.
book.
Yeah,
I
get
had
2 of them.
I had the first issue of when Superman died. When
Oh
he
yeah,
got beat
definitely
by
Superman.
Doomsday.
Yeah, Doomsday. Yeah.
And my father bought me the whole collection. Like when he died in the resurrection,
Yeah.
how he came back in like
With
4
four
different
Supermans,
forms.
yeah.
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 And I remember how bogus I was treating the comic. I would just throw it around.
You didn't know what you had.
I didn't know what I
You didn't
had
know
at
what you
that
had.
time.
Man,
Yeah.
Don't feel bad. There's so years ago, I had a buddy that gave me a copy of The Dark Knight Returns, just the old man Batman
real
story.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was just getting into the comics, so I may be 3 or 4 years in the comics, and I was a Batman fan, but I didn't, like you said, you didn't know what you didn't know. I didn't know the significance of this book.
Yeah.
I got the cover came off. I'm missing pages. I wound up having to rebuy this thing years later, and they jacked up the price
Oh,
by this
yeah.
point.
You can't get
and
it,
it's
yeah.
like it's on like coming to my house. It's like literally on my bookshelf now. I'm just like, yeah, I paid for the sins of like. Younger me not taking care of this book, so
Facts.
like had to go out and rebuy the issue for like $30. Mm-hmm. All right, we got off on a tangent. Where were we at?
I really like this. It's super creative and the characters look good. It's something if I was walking in the store, I'd be like, this is interesting. 'Cause I'm not really interested in comic, but this looks really good. The visual and the
artistic and
visualization.
everything.
Now I'll say this.
It's
So
very-
I'm not an artist. I like I said, I tried to go to college and I want to be a writer and artist. I realized immediately the level and the skill and desire it takes to be a great artist, I don't have. Like now to write stories, I could sit all day rewriting a paragraph till I'm blue in the face and I'm fine with it. Art, no. So I realized this is the business order in me. I realized in order to do this, I couldn't do it on my own. But I know comic books and I know how to create comic books. So my thing was, okay, if I can't be an artist, I have to find a good artist. So the artist, so I have 3 different covers for this book. So the cover that Streets currently has in his hand.
Yeah, this dope. And
Oh,
that one right there. is
Yeah,
dope.
so-
That's the first. That one that caught my track.
So,
Yeah.
little backstory on the cover, this cover right here. Let me just.
Yeah.
So, this cover right here, the 7 characters that you see, the artist that did this cover, this is the artist that I hired to do my character creation. So, like, I gave him my crew 2-dimensional drawings and gave him some backgrounds. Like, hey, these are ideas for these 7 characters.
Yeah.
And after a couple of months, he basically came up with the designs. So I hired him for one cover. My main artist, so if you're reading the actual book, the interior artist, that's the guy that did the cover. That's the guy I'm currently working with. He works full time for my company, Lucas Pereira. He currently lives in Brazil. So yeah, I have like kind of an international flavor with my.
That's pretty dope.
So yeah, he did the cover for this, and this cover, as a comic book fan, is something funny. It's actually based on a cover of an X-Men comic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like so,
It looked like it a little bit, but you really got your originality.
yeah,
too.
and yeah.
And also, the question I wanted to ask you this before the interview, but I didn't want to spoil this question because I've always thought about this with comics, keeping the likeness and the continuity from artist to artist. So even I know that it's not one artist drawing the entire project, right?
Yeah.
Like artists are able to keep the character looking the same throughout every page or even different poses, even the cover. Like, how does that work?
Okay, that's more of a question you had to
That's
ask
for
my
the
artist
artist,
because,
right?
like, from my point of view,
Yeah.
So if you read issue 1, from my point of view, the best I can do is It's just how I detail the how I detail my script. So, and then with my main artist that I've been working with in First Brigade, we've been working together about 5 years now.
Damn.
So we have a very shorthand way of communicating. He understands the looks of my characters and certain facial expressions they'll make and things like that. So sometimes I don't necessarily have to be as detailed with him. I can say, hey, Trouble's surprised and she has her hands across her face. And he'll basically fill in the blanks. Because he knows exactly how these characters look, how they move. He knows them as well as I do. So from that aspect, it's like as far as I have to be, I just have, depending on the type of artist I'm working with, I just have to be very detailed in describing what I need the page to look, or if I have a level of trust with them, just trust how good they are as an artist. And with my artists, I'll be honest, like I said, we've been working together 5 years. There's literally times, issue 2, and then unfortunately I don't have issue 3 with me, but there was a couple of points in those books where I wrote something very simple, just a simple description. And what he came back to me was literally something I had in my head. I just didn't say it out loud.
That was going to be my
I was
question.
trying to get on that.
Go ahead.
So that's my next question. So growing up, I used to look in a newspaper at comic, and it was very political and sarcastic. What are your characters representing? Like, what's your message in the characters?
Yes.
Like in the individual
In the
characters?
storytelling.
Okay, so I always go with this. Like, my storytelling overall is the idea of edutainment. To be able to entertain and educate at the same time. With this being my first book, it's not as political as some other things I'm working on because it's my first book out, and I'm being dead honest. It's about reaching a broader audience. So it's more of it's not necessarily a all ages book, but I'd say 10, 11, 12. But with this book, it's more so the education comes from the language I use. Like you were talking about earlier. Like I don't use, if you read my book, I don't use a lot of street vernacular purposely.
Okay.
Like that's easy for us as black people. Right. Like sometimes the hardest thing for us to do is to understand things we don't understand. And when I was growing up, that was language. That was trying to understand how to use the 50-cent words and the 5-cent words and what they mean and what they represent. So with this particular book, when it comes to how I think about edutainment, it's really just, okay, how these characters talk, how they relate to each other, and just basically anything that's more so like talk about character development, really seeing how these characters live day-to-day life. It's not necessarily, they have amazing powers, they do all these awesome things.
Well, what they do personal in their own.
But it's more of the personal story, the personal interaction that is the bigger draw for this book.
But don't you also think that seeing a character that looks like you, talks like you, don't you think that could be more relatable to someone?
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna mess the name up, but I hate I'm gonna mess it because I used to watch the hell out of this shit and I used to love it. And it was one of the first, like, I'm not gonna say the first superheroes because when I was younger I loved Superman. But when I used to watch this cartoon, I'm gonna mess the name up. I know I'm gonna fuck it up. I need one of y'all to Google it. But it was a shorty. He was black. And he knew how to control lightning.
Static Shock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go crazy like that. You know what I'm talking about, though.
I got you wrong.
I was now hear me out.
No,
I'm going before the question.
that.
So going off of what you're saying is like you want to use the street vernacular, everything, but that particular series didn't hide from that. So like, what do you feel like you'll be gaining? What do you feel like you'll be gaining from not going in that route? Because you have to for me, especially seeing a lot of characters that do not look like me, at some point you have to try to relate, right? Because this just like Barbie dolls. I mean, I'm saying all women play with Barbie dolls, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I remember growing up, my auntie, she wouldn't have not one Barbie. It was all black Cabbage Patch Kids or black Barbies. She would not have none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what is the advantage of you not using the street language?
Here's a simple answer.
Yeah.
We don't all talk like that.
Okay.
I can talk street. I have elements. I know how to code switch, but I don't always talk in the street vernacular. I didn't grow up around people that always talk in the street vernacular.
Yeah.
Like, we have levels. We have, not to say I don't have a character in this book that doesn't talk with a street
And I don't mean,
vernacular.
I guess I don't mean like that. I mean to relate.
But I'm just
You know what
saying,
I'm saying?
and my thing is,
Yeah.
sometimes we have to look past what we are used to seeing and used to hearing. But trust me, there are a lot of different indie books made by Black people where they have characters that talk that way, and I love them. I can wax poetic about a few of them. But I figured for me in my lane, what sets me apart and makes me different is I don't go that route.
Okay.
Like I'm doing something a little bit different. Like meet me halfway. Like I said, I have a few characters that kind of talk that way. But and it's another thing because it's the where I set the story. So it's set in New York. Like it's not a fictionalized version of New York, but it's New York. People in New York talk in a million different ways.
Facts.
So you have people that talk street, you have people that talk like a blue collar worker, you have people that are white collar workers, and sometimes they're all on the train together having the same conversation. Yeah. So my thing is, and especially somebody that loves playing with language and writing, it's easy for me to write in that vernacular and that style because it's something that's common to me. But let's say, oh man, I want this character, like my character Major Indra. She would be more equivalent to like a PhD, master's degree type of person. So she has a different tone, a different way of speaking than somebody like Trouble, who's a 13-year-old kid who's from the streets. Yeah. So there's levels to this. So like we don't all talk the same way. So not all of my characters need to talk with a street vernacular.
It's almost like, so one more thing. It's almost like the Cosby Show in Good Times, right?
Right.
It's like the Cosby Show. Meet me halfway. All of us ain't like this. All of us ain't on welfare or struggling. Right. Living in the hood. Living check to check. You know, some of us are successful. We got lawyers and doctors and all of that. And I just brought up Static Shock because it was an episode when he, when motherfuckers had company. You remember, you used to call people like, man, I got company. Yeah. So it was one episode where he had a friend. He was white. He went to his crib. I hope I'm not messing this up.
Oh, and the racist pop?
Yeah. And his daddy was like, what the fuck you doing? You know? And that's, to me, I think those type of stories are going to draw people in, right? Not saying that this won't. I'm just saying I just wanted to hear your view on that because
and it's funny you mentioned Static Shock. Shout out to my homie Norm because back in the day he was the reason. Like so, Static Shock. I'll say real quick. So Static Shock comes from a comic book company known as Milestone Media,
which is black.
Which is a black-owned comic book company. It was a subsidiary of DC Comics back in the early '90s. My homie that I just pointed out, he got me on it because he went to some spot where he met some of the creators. So they had 4 books. Static before it became Static Shock. Blood Syndicate, which is a group of gang members. They weren't a team of heroes or villains. Icon, who was basically a stand-in for Superman, except he landed and ruled the South during slavery. So he wound up living through all of that. Then it was another book, Hardware. So it was about a black man who worked for a white company and kept stealing his ideas. Tell me that don't sound familiar to y'all. Yes. So this is so I grew up Marvel, DC, but I was a Milestone kid growing up. I inhaled that probably just as much while they were active, if not more, than Marvel or DC. That's why I can literally name all 4 of those books like I'm sleeping. Like
you did.
So and in a lot of ways, when I first was getting into comic books, wanting to write, Static was. I was 12, 13, 14 years old when this kid was around. So like that was as far as something that I can latch on to as a black kid. That was right there immediately in my face. Okay. But not to say I don't want to get political. I just feel every story, there's a time and place for every story. The story that I want to get political in doesn't involve these characters. Like I said, you mentioned earlier how many characters. I have over 100 characters, and that particular story, it's brewing. I've been writing that one. I've been revising that one, and I don't quite have my artist for it yet. Okay. So like once I get the artist, that's gonna be the one where I know I'm gonna make some people mad, and I'm okay with that. I'm a writer. Sometimes that's my job. It's like I'm supposed to piss people off. Okay. This is gonna be the one that'll bring you in, make you feel comfortable. The next one will kind of ruffle your feathers, and the third one will really piss you off.
Gotcha.
So I got a question about characters, but I'm gonna come back to it because I need to ask these two. What's behind your name, Brooklyn? And I want to know more about where did the name Bunny Pop Press come from?
So Brooklyn. Okay, so Brooklyn is a nickname that I got from one of my homies here in Chicago. So I've lived a lot of different places. I'm originally from here, but I've moved a lot of different places. I've lived a lot of different places. So the last place I was living before coming back here was New York. And the job that me and Chef A worked together, he kind of seen how it was moving. And I was like, a lot of people we worked with were from New York. I literally was just in New York. So I could have conversations with all these bigwigs about New York. And it's like, oh, you must be from New York. And I would try to explain, no, I'm not from New York. Nobody would ever hear it. They would just hear, oh, I used to live in New York.
I don't hear it, actually. I don't hear New York accent.
I know.
I'm shocked.
I know I don't have a New York accent, which is even funnier. Yeah. So eventually he just started calling me Brooklyn at work.
Okay.
And with all the higher ups and things like that, it actually helped me out. Like, kind of helped me move up, and people kind of knew who I was. And then outside of work, we just grew together, and it stuck. So it's like, that's not even the nickname most of my friends here call me, but it's just the nickname that's just stuck with me. So it's just like, you know what? Brooklyn.
I just found out your name was Michael when you sent the documents. Well, I'm like, Michael. You mean Mike? I'm like,
Mike? Where is this coming from?
Big Mike. With the Q. What's the Q?
No, that's actually my brother.
Okay.
So my middle name is Quan. So if you look at the back page, when you see the writer, that's me.
Okay.
Like M. Quan Boyd is my pen name. Michael Q. Boyd. Michael Q. Boyd is when I'm working as a publisher. And then Brooklyn or Mike 3 when I'm doing anything behind a microphone.
Yeah, I seen the mic.
I'm going to stick to Brooklyn.
Yeah. So like I said, it works. And then, okay, so you want to know the term? The
Bunny Pop Press, that's very capturing.
Okay,
like
so...
What's behind that?
So
I wanted to ask that before the interview.
Okay, so Bunny Pop Press, I got to try to make this story as short as possible.
Go ahead.
So it's multiple stages. So I grew up being a fan of like Bugs Bunny,
That makes sense.
Stuff like that. Then fast forward, I was in college, dumb idiot stuff in college. I used to get drunk and chase the bunnies around my campus around trying to catch it. Could never do it.
That's bunny like women, or you talking about real bunnies?
I'm talking about real bunnies.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they had real bunnies on my campus. So I've always had this thing about bunnies. So fast forward a little.
I'm sorry, they just outside?
They were
outside.
Where's
these bunnies at?
They would just be outside on my campus and went to like Knox College down in Galesburg, Illinois. So you would just, and like I said, I'd be drunk and running around. I'm going to catch these rappers, these bunnies. So I've always had this thing about bunnies. So I think it was years later, I'm back in Chicago, and me and my crew, we used to do music. And so one of our guys who was more IT was like, oh, I'm going to put together a web page for us. So everybody's going to have their own individual page. And he was like, hey, Mike 3, what do you want on your page? And me being an idiot, hey, put bunnies as the background. Why? I don't know. It's just goofy. It makes no sense. Let's do it. Yeah. And then so around that time, I'm still writing music, and I came up with this song called Bunny Pop. Don't ask me where it came from. It was just one of these goofy ideas I came up with. So I was just like, man, that sounds like, I just kind of kept the title. So years later, I'm in grad school, and I was telling you guys earlier about how I had to do this class where I had to do publishing. And I was like, oh, you had to come up with a name for your company. And I remember reading this interview with Mike Pondsmith. He's the guy that created Cyberpunk 2077. And he was talking about with his company, the actual game, the actual physical.
The game?
Yeah, the video game is based on his property. Right. Yeah, but the tabletop game, the D&D version. So he was talking about in an interview how you should like stay away from naming your company after yourself. And I mean, I love my name, but let's be real, Michael Boyd sounds boring. So I had no desire to want to name my company after myself. So I'm literally coming up with this list of names for like potential names for my publishing company. And I'm like, oh, Bunny Pop. And then I was like, well, publishing, press.
Perfect.
And it was like, oh, perfect. And it was like, people like, what does it mean? It doesn't mean, how to mean anything. It's just like, I like bunnies. It's a press. Like Bunny Pop Press. Let's go with it.
I like the name.
It's catchy. It's like, that's another thing. It's catchy. It's like when I say it, people always have to remember, oh, yeah, Bunny Pop Press, because it just kind of rolls off the tongue.
I remember, for sure.
Yeah, so those are the two stories of how I got Brooklyn and how you got Bunny Pop Press.
All right.
So, who was your favorite superhero?
Growing up, my favorite superhero. Oh, I have a top 5 in no particular order: Storm, Black Panther, Magneto, Spider-Man, either Miles Morales or Peter Parker and Batman.
I like Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Spider-Man can never get old.
Yeah. And if you ask me who my spirit animals out of those top 5 are, I would say Spider-Man and Batman.
Okay.
Spider-Man, because when I was growing up, I felt a lot like Peter Parker. Like growing up, I was like that nerdy kid that was awkward. But for me, my superpower was writing. Once I had that, that was me in my mask. Okay, now I'm in my element. And Bruce Wayne for me is because, okay, this man had no powers. He just had a drive. That's me. I don't have any powers. I just have a drive. So, and then Black Panther, because, I mean, come on, that man's, it's Black Panther. Like,
Batman.
like, okay, so how I became a fan of Black Panther, no joke. Early in my comic book reading days, can't remember the exact issue, but it was his first appearance in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
He took out the Fantastic Four
all
by himself.
By himself alone.
And so as a black kid reading this, and I'm seeing
We
this,
sit solid.
I know they kids. I know they kids, grandkids. I'm sorry, I'm that brainy.
So the reason I like Storm, this is another funny one. So I started reading X-Men when Storm didn't have powers. She was powerless.
Hold on, you got to tell us about that. I didn't know that. I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, okay, so this is
because I got put on the Storm. Okay, so I got put on from X-Men, not from the comic, but from the cartoon.
Yeah, and a lot of people.
Yeah.
So in grade school, when the cartoon was out, me and my homie, we was top dogs because we read the comics. So people would come to us asking us the real.
Yeah.
But let me just flip back real quick with Storm.
Yeah.
So Storm, and this is during the 80s era, X-Men, she had the Mohawk. So she lost her powers because of another character in the book. Yeah. So she was literally running around leading the X-Men. Basically, she was the first. What's the term I'm looking for? She was the first like black punk rock chick. She cut her hair, was rocking a mohawk and the black leather. But she took no shit. And so the issue that made me a Storm fan was Cyclops came back. Cyclops all with the powers with the laser eyeballs. He's like, oh, I should be leading the X-Men. Storm, you don't even have powers. Storm was like, yo, let's fight for it. She tapped that ass right there. I was like, for life, Storm, you an OG for life. You was powerless. And let's be real, with power, she top 10. You can control the weather. She was like, I'm going to whoop your ass with no power. Yeah, she level 5. Yeah.
That's interesting because in the new X-Men 97 that just dropped, she lost her powers.
That's
but it was like she went into depression though when she lost them. Whereas what you saying is she was more empowered.
And the comics, that's the thing because when I was watching that I was like, oh, they go because
they about to bring her back.
And then I see what they did with her.
She was lost.
I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait to the next episode.
Somewhere in that, not the uncutting. Somewhere, she had went to Wakanda, and they talked to the ants in spirit.
And they helped up.
She went to Wakanda.
Yeah, she got ties with Black Panther.
Yeah, that's been.
Oh,
they married.
Wow.
They were married.
I'm like, I don't know. Look, even with Black Panther, I hate even saying this.
That's one of my favorites.
I learned about Black Panther through the movie. Because I never was that. The comics. I'm gonna tell you the comics I grew up with. This is horrible. I hate saying this. I grew up with the Ninja Turtle comics.
That's not a bad comic though.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Me too.
I grew up with that.
The black and white ones.
The ones that where they all they were all the same.
Yeah. The Eastmans. Yeah, those were the classics.
So I grew up with them. I grew up with the Superman, like the generic, like regular Superman, like he's the most powerful dude on Earth.
That dude always bores me.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Until they upgraded.
Still bores me.
The final one that I was in depth, like I was reading, was the novel version of the Death of Superman. Not
that
not
made
the
everybody
comic,
salty. I was mad.
but the actual thing. It was like
I got that
book.
one. I got that one.
Yeah,
I know exactly the
all
one.
the rest of my comic book shit is on the cartoon. I'm watching that shit on the TV.
Well, my introduction in the comics were through some of the older cartoons. So you remember Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends from back in the day?
That was the real shit.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like that got me. So I was familiar with it, and then by the time my pops introduced me to him, like I was familiar with at least Spider-Man. I had at least a little idea who Batman was, but once I got into it.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those. I'm that friend. My other friends call when new Marvel movies come out. Before they see the movie, they start asking me about different characters, and I'm like, without pulling out. I am that friend, and without pulling out a book, a thesaurus,
I ain't gonna lie. No,
I can give you whatever information you want to know. And a lot of
I got
times,
you. Yep.
I'm that bad where I don't even want to watch. I don't even want to know the characters in those movies because then I know what the movie is about.
I see.
Like when okay, so what was that? Endgame, before Endgame came out, when they were announcing the title for
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, when they were announcing the title for Infinity War, I knew exactly how that movie was gonna end.
Yeah,
I was in the movie halfway through the movie doing this.
Yeah.
And nobody had a clue
then
why I'm just randomly snapping. And then when it gets to the point people start looking at me, I'm like,
You know,
They ain't even.
you know.
I look the whole time, like as it going on, like it's so much of a brainiac. I already knew he was Dr. Doom. By the way, everything kept playing out. I just watching it like, okay, this is going from the beginning.
Yeah, it's like
people
so
don't
like
even understand
I
the
enjoy
spoilers.
watching it, but the thing of being an Uber fan like I was growing up, and then transitioning and wanting to be a creator, you look at things from multiple angles. So I don't just look at story. I stopped looking at stories as just stories. I start looking at it. Okay, what did the writer do in this scene to make this thing happen here? And so it's hard for me to watch movies, TV, read books because I'm
That's
always picking it apart. Like that's
Yeah,
why
me
people.
too.
That's why people like, oh, what are you watching? I'm not watching shit.
Something I already know.
Because I'm too busy. I'm not enjoying it. I'm too busy trying to figure out, okay, how can I tell a better version of this story?
Yeah.
Right. And if it's something that's really a good story, I'm definitely like, oh man, let me break apart this
overthinking
thing.
it,
And if
and
it's
I'm
something
detailing
terrible, I'm doing the opposite.
That's
like,
being creative.
So it's like, a lot of times, like if it's anything TV, like something like that, it's something older that I'm usually into. And a lot of times that's just for me, it's comfort food, and then a lot of times, like I said, I'm always dissecting things. These are some of the things that I find classic material. So what can I get out of this to help my storytelling? Right. Like you were talking about Black Panther real quick. So one of my favorite writers, Christopher Priest, black guy, he used to work for Milestone Media. Yeah. He, to me, wrote probably the definitive Black Panther run I have ever read. You get to this, matter of fact, real quick sidebar, the costume that Killmonger is wearing in the first Black Panther movie is actually the costume that Black Panther was wearing in this series.
That's cold.
Yeah, so they
they
used a lot of Christopher Priest's influences in that first Black Panther movie.
Okay.
But his run was so political, and so when people originally thought how Black Panther joined the Avengers, he was just this friendly African dude. No, Christopher Priest went in and was like, no, Black Panther joined the Avengers to spy on these motherfuckers because he didn't trust none of these people. And that reframed everything about Black Panther. Like everything within the Marvel universe, instead of him just being, like a lot of people want to look at Black Panther as a Batman clone. Black Panther.
I never thought of that.
Black Panther is so much more.
I don't get that.
But a lot of uneducated comic book readers, that's their first. It's the black version of Batman. Oh hell no!
People wouldn't know that. Even also, not the this is another side about it. People would know that Wesley Snipes is the one who saved Marvel.
Yeah, with Blade.
Like that Blade movie didn't never come out. Marvel wouldn't be able to come out with X-Men. They wouldn't be able to come out with all the movies that they had came out with.
And they were going into bankruptcy at that time. That's the reason they had to sell the X-Men and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four off. That's why we got so many of those crappy ass movies.
Yep,
right. And, with the exception of the first two Spider-Man movies, those are gold. Those are gold.
Hold on, we super nerd now. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I mean.
Well, Mouse, I can't wait for
the with Mouse.
Oh, the anime, but that's more recently. I'm talking about like in the early 2000s. So like, this would be the Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. Those two movies rock. Like the third one, I don't want to talk about it because Venom was in that movie, and that's my favorite villain. But
they wouldn't able.
Marvel.
None of those movies would enable.
Marvel, literally at that time point was they were going into bankruptcy. They had a lot of bad investments. So it was literally the Blade.
It took a black man to say y'all.
We gonna get back to that.
Was the movie and the comics. Go ahead, Tori.
Got it. So you did some work for Xbox. right?
Oh, Xbox. Oh my God, you went
What?
to- Okay, so I used to. So I used to be a. I used to be a video game reviewer. So yeah, I worked for Xbox exclusive. So I would just basically they would send me games, I would play them, and I would review them.
How did that go though? Was it?
It was stressful because I used to just like playing video games, but then having like, and at the time period where now games are getting to like 60, 70, 80 hours. Wait, you give me this game and I got 2 days to play this, finish it, and write a review?
Really?
An 80-hour game? Now, if I'm just gaming on my own, I can easily kill.
Hours.
What I'm saying is I'm just gaming on my own. I have no stress. I can, if it's a game I'm into, I can easily kill that time, no problem.
can enjoy it.
I can enjoy it. But when it's like, I got to get this review out, there's no enjoyment to it because it's like task. Okay, how's this mechanic work? What is this? It's like, and so everything that you enjoy about playing video games gets stripped away. So I did that for almost a year, and I was like, no, I can't.
I seen that a year.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Did you learn anything about the company though, like and how they?
They have no idea what the hell they want to do with video games.
Really?
Yeah, they like they're a computer company.
Got
so
it.
like at the end of the day, they are like it's just one facet of their company, and if it's not making money, so what? We got Office, we got Windows Office, literally just print money hand over fist. So like
Pretty much.
whatever Xbox is doing, because like some of the games they would give me to review were straight ass.
What
like,
were some of them? Did you ever do? What's the one the kids was? What is this?
Okay.
Jumping off, blowing up stuff. What's
so
the game?
you talking about like something like Fortnite? No, I wasn't.
Fortnite.
I wasn't.
Right,
I had long.
all I saw was characters hopping with guns. I don't know what was going on. Like, what are we doing?
No, by
What
the
was the
time
mission?
by the time that game came out, I was long out of that field.
Okay,
like
got it.
so in my era, it would have been like Call of Duty was big.
Oh,
so
well,
like
see, I like
What
Call
year?
of
I
Duty.
can tell you because I was on 50 with that game. Shit, what year was
I love
it?
this
Call of
was
Duty.
like this was Modern Warfare 4. So this was like early 2000, 2008, 2009, somewhere around that
I
time.
might have been
Okay.
playing then.
So yeah, I was like, it was either that or I was like Black Ops, things like that. What was the game they
Halo.
Halo. I didn't review Halo. There was a game that I had a buddy that worked for a company here called Fear.
Fear was amazing.
That game.
Computer version is.
I'll be honest.
top-notch.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Can I be completely honest with
Go
y'all?
ahead.
Okay.
I couldn't finish that damn game. It fucking freaked me.
Super hard.
It freaked me the fuck out.
And
No, there's
freaked
this
you
little
out.
this little girl in the motherfucking game, and she be making all these sounds, and I got something about scary little girls in horror movies, and
Yeah.
I was like.
Yeah.
It's just like
I
that.
literally had to go to my home because he worked for the company. I was like, hey, tell me the end of this game. I'm not finishing it. And that's what, okay, I no longer work for him, so I can say this. I didn't finish that game. That review was based on my homie telling me the rest of that game because that shit freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah, that reminds me of Corey A. Sketches, and I only know about him because of my kids.
Yeah.
But he is a super mega star when it comes to rating the games and stuff. I
Yeah.
like his personality. But I was about to ask you. Anyway, it's gone away. But this is a serious question, right?
Yeah.
If you had to create a main character like Superman or Batman, which one of these characters, if you're 120, would you stand out to break the box office if you had to write a story about the
That's
character?
a good one. Yeah.
Wait, of those two characters?
Of
No,
all
the
your 120
120
characters.
Of my 120
If you
characters?
had to take one of
characters?
those to break
Yeah.
the box office and do a movie about it, like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, who do you think will do that?
I'm going to just...
Yeah, the one on your shirt. I see.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? And I was gonna say she stands
Who is
out.
she? What-
That's
Yeah.
my character. Okay, so that's my character of Trouble. Just like her name suggests, she is Trouble. Like 13-year-old Puerto Rican from from Brooklyn. So she's mouthy. She has attitude. She's probably one of the most powerful members of the team, and she doesn't know how to fight.
Let's get some context though. What is First Brigade? Why
Okay.
you name it that so then we can count?
Okay, so First Brigade is a team of superpowered first responders. So they deal with like any, I say the super version of any crazy catastrophe that would go on. Like so let's just say there's a radioactive fire going on. You're not gonna send the regular law enforcement. Let's say bees are raining
gonna
down in
send the
Manhattan.
First Brigade.
You send the First Brigade. And so the term First Brigade was literally I just liked the way it sounded.
Okay.
I was like, oh, yo, that would be a good title for
That's
a group.
how it starts though.
And how this team even came about is I have a friend, we were I was living in San Diego at the time, and he was training to be a firefighter. We went to college together. He originally was going to be a teacher. He was about to switch over to becoming a firefighter. A teacher. Originally, he was going to be a teacher, and then he was like, I'm decided I want to be a firefighter. And at the time, guys, he's another one of my friends. We talk about comics. So at the time, I was working on another series that I have yet to announce. And I was like, man, I really have an idea. I want to kind of work on a team book at the same time. That's the way my mind works. I have to write multiple things at the same time. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to be a firefighter. And that kind of struck a chord with me. I was like, at first it was just going to be super powered firefighters. And then it just kind of morphed as I'm reading about firefighters and first responders. And then, so with me, if you know anything about me in terms of writing, and when it comes to fiction, I start with my characters first. So I may have had a loose idea of this is the team concept, but in order for the team to come alive, I had to create my 7 characters. Yeah. So every one of those characters are individually sculpted. They all have their own personalities, own backstories, own power sets. So I can literally say any of those 7 women. But if you want me to be honest, I always say I don't have a favorite character, but my favorite character to write is Trouble.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I gotta say, I'm tweaking.
What happened?
What'd you just
because I'm just noticing these are all women.
Yeah. You didn't notice that? I love that part.
I'm tweaking.
I always love when that becomes like, wait a minute, this is the team full of all women.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was done on purpose too. It wasn't.
Cold.
Ain't no men.
It is, right? I never even thought.
It was done.
I'm sleep.
I'm sleep.
I thought this was the
That's
dude.
what throw me off.
I'm like, it's one dude. I'm like, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So it's
Now,
all women.
That's cold.
That's nice.
Solid gold. That's the
You know
culture.
what?
That's solid gold, right? That's solid gold right
I might be
there.
a fan comic after this.
Damn.
I'm gonna start here, though.
The whole
Start here.
time I'm sitting there. I ain't
I
gonna
didn't
pick
even
my
peep
favorite because
that.
all of
Yeah.
women.
So was that a intentional choice?
Okay, so I'll be honest. Creativity-wise, it wasn't intentional when I first started creating my book. So like I said, I started with characters. So I was like, and the way I started with characters is I started with thinking about internal conflicts between characters in my team. So I was like, okay, if I have one character that has this type of personality trait, I want to have another character where even if they can go out on a mission and get the mission done, there might be some friction between these two characters. So so I can kind of come up with pairs. So when I came up with Major Indra, basic idea, former cop. So my former criminal, backshot, internal conflict. I have a pious, more religious character, replica. What's the opposite of somebody that's pious or religious? Somebody that's selfish, friction. So the only exception is on that team is Susan Serenity and Shift. They're friends. They're like, the best way I can say it, they're like my Iron Fist and Power Man relationship.
Right.
They're just two buddies that get along despite being completely different. Or hell, you could say me and fucking Chef A.
Right.
Exactly. Right.
And then so the odd person out was my character of Trouble. And if you know anything about storytelling, Trouble is basically my point of view character for my readers.
Right.
She's the character that doesn't know much about the universe, about the world. So if she asks questions, she's inquisitive, she does something stupid, it makes sense because she doesn't know shit. But at the same time, because I know her personality, she's a feisty woman, a feisty young woman. To me, as a writer, I love writing those types of characters. It gives me a lot of room to maneuver because she has her faults, she has her flaws, but she also has all this room to grow. So if I'm going to do a breakout character, it's no different than Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a young kid trying to figure shit out.
That's what I was gonna say. What would be her superpower?
Okay, so her power is she can absorb plasma around her, like from bodies in the atmosphere, and create bombs, basically exploding like energy bombs. And right now, at this stage in the story, she can create them with both hands, but she can only throw with her right hand at this point in time.
Okay.
But as she develops, there will be more things that she can do, more adventures she'll get into. If you read issue 2, you've seen kind of where her mouth gets her into trouble and things like that. But
You know what this series and your characters remind me of? Twilight. As Twilight, and that's a compliment. Cause wait,
Twilight.
no, I'm not. I've never heard of like.
wait, am I not Twilight? Am I saying that right? With Jacob and the werewolf.
Yeah, you're right. Twilight.
Okay.
Right. Twilight Saga.
The characters in there all had something important about them, no matter who was more superior than the other.
Yeah.
That would be a good direction for you to go if you ever wanted to like mainstream. I would use them as inspiration with the characters. They all was super important. I mean, I don't know how much you like Twilight.
I've never watched Twilight. I've heard about it.
It's so many series to it. And one of the movies, they really showed everybody powers. Like Bella, what she was able to block out pain, which really helped them when they had that fight. But it's a series to it. But
Okay.
And that's dope because you probably later on need to do some live action shit. That's where you're gonna involve me with the camera. But we're gonna talk about that later. But look, check
ideas.
it out. So I got a question. So these are all women. How difficult is it to write in that?
Oh, you mean as a man, how difficult is it to write as a
That's
woman?
interesting.
Exactly.
That's a
Yeah,
great
because
it's fucking a challenge. And
I
but
bet
here's the thing. It is something you have to know about me as a writer.
Go ahead.
And it's how I learned how to write. I love a challenge. Like when I was learning to write, like I explained to you guys earlier, I became a writer because I used to struggle with reading. So when I learned to write, it wasn't like I had instruction manual. I had to, until I started taking proper courses, a lot of that stuff was just be figuring it out. And then as I started to get better as a writer, one of those things I always challenge myself, and no matter if I'm telling a short story, a novel, I'm trying to write a screenplay, what's the challenge in this? What's something that I've never tried and let me do it? Like real quick, in grad school, when I was getting my MFA, I had to write a thesis project. So it could have been a book, whatever. So I decided to do a novel, and I decided to do a crime noir series. I've never written crime noir. I'm just like kind of a fan, so I literally studied crime noir, came up with a crime noir story, and wrote it. So with this book, so like I was saying, when I was originally coming up with the concept for the book, I never really thought about, let me make this a team full of women. It was just as I was creating the characters, I literally got to my 5th character, and I was like, wait a minute, I have a team full of women. And then that's when it was like, let me just finish it off. Let me make all the characters women, because at that point it would have felt, I don't know, it just didn't feel right me trying to include a guy in this team. I was like, wait a minute, let me see what type of conflict I can get if I literally have a team.
You'll usually see they mixed with some of them, not to cut you off, 3 men, 4 women, or,
and usually if you look at most comics, if you look at team books, with the exception of X-Men books, it's usually, let's say if it's a 7-person team, it's usually 6 guys and a woman or 5 guys and 2 women, or 5 guys, a woman, and a minority. I was like, you know what? They all gonna be minorities and they all gonna be women. Matter of fact, if you look at my team, I only have 1 white person on the team. And that's just from my travels in my life. Like there's a reason that the team is multicultural, and that has to do with my personal life and my friends and family and things like that. But like, it's all minorities. Like it's all a bunch of women from different backgrounds, and writing different women from different backgrounds. The thing that's helped me is the fact that I've been lucky enough to know a lot of different women from a lot of different backgrounds. Now I'm getting ready
to ask my next question, because this interest in these women characters, I have to ask you. It's my famous question. What's your zodiac?
Leo.
I would not have thought that.
I know, right?
I would not have thought that. You definitely tapping more into like a Scorpio with the emotion side with the women, but I would never have thought Leo.
But I'll say this too.
You're very calm, Leo.
I have to thank my moms for a lot of this influence, her and women like her.
Okay.
Being around my mom, I know this, and some other people know this. When my mom's passed a few years ago, when I eulogized her, I basically compared her to Batman. I was like, the first superhero I knew, hands down, was my mom's. Like, no joke. Because some of the things I would see her pull off just at home, out in public, was some superhero shit. And then over time, I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of amazing women who have not necessarily the same qualities of my mom, but they all share some type of strength. So when I started writing these women characters and started devising them, I could pick from, so like the character of Major Indra, the leader of the team, she's literally 3 women that I went to school with, and for a year we had a house together. We lived in an international house together. I was the only American in this house. I was like living in a house with Africans, Indians, Asians, and on the second floor was Nalu, Shanali, and Riddy, 3 Indian chicks, and we used to cook together. We used to fight over the bathroom together, So those 3 women went into that character. And I can keep going. I wax poetic literally about all 7 of these women, but like it was something that once I realized what I had and talking about the field that I'm in, like what else sets me apart? There's nobody else writing. There might be other people out there independently writing teen books with women, but I can guarantee you they're not writing it the way I'm writing them.
But also too, how well are women responding to the character?
Okay,
like so check it out.
I'm
So
glad you
like
asked.
I understand, like it's almost like how you'll have female rappers that are writing raps that are being written by men, right?
Yeah.
And they'll try to they'll in their brain they're writing from a woman's perspective, but they're not a woman. So they're writing something that they internally thinking that, well, I'll say it like this. The saying goes, if you want to know what a woman want, read a novel. You want to know what a man want, look at a porno. Get what I'm saying? Yeah. We can never really tap into what a woman really is because we're not a woman. So how are you able to? You got 7. This is 7 different personalities. Mm-hmm. Like how are you?
Okay, so here's the crazy part about it. I have 7 different personalities in my head. Okay, so I'm saying that jokingly, but so with these characters, I've developed.
You got woman fans on First Brigade?
Oh, okay, so let me answer that question first. So as far as my breakdown of fandom, it's women of all nationalities and white men. Those are my biggest 2 fan bases.
Okay.
And I know, white men? Hell yeah, white men. Because guess what white men like to do? They like to gaze at women.
I mean, but we still much. Men. I'm saying women are I just...
And with the women, it didn't surprise me, but at the same time it does. Because I know I'm a man. And I make no bones of saying, okay, there are certain things about women that I cannot and will never be able to understand and write about.
I mean, even dialogue from woman to woman, like there has to be scenes in these comics, or there has to be scenarios where there are 2 women talking back and forth to each other, and you're writing that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Because, because for me, like I said, going back to the characters themselves, I've had these characters in my head living rent-free for over 10 years.
Okay.
So, and the way I devise my characters is similar to how most people devise characters for movie scripts. I literally will break down the character into like everything from like favorite color, like if they're allergic to shit, like things that may never get into the page, but it helps.
No, right? They ain't alert.
But it helps define that person. And so for me, like I said, between initially coming up with these characters and actually physically putting the stories down, I've literally been able to just kind of hear these different voices in my head. And being fortunate enough to be around a lot of different women from a lot of different regions, hearing how they talk is something that always helps me. So a lot of times, and then thirdly, like my editor is a woman. So if there's something that is not like
that's good.
It's not like 100% on par.
I literally it got a female presence.
That was on purpose. I did that on purpose. I was like, 'cause I know I'm a man. Literally, my artist is a guy. Yeah. The guy that colors is a guy. The guy that puts the word balloons in is the guy. I need a woman's touch.
You have to, because just because you hear how they talk don't mean you know how they think.
Because and they're like, I literally and thankfully I have enough female friends and fans who will give me ideas that like something I don't think of, but something I might think is minor or makes no sense. And they'll say, oh, you need to include that because a woman will say that.
Exactly.
And I'll be like...
That's what I'm saying.
And I'll be like, okay.
Or a woman won't say that.
Right. And like, so last night was a perfect example. I was out at Penflow, shout out to Penflow, and I was talking to a young lady. She come upstairs and I noticed something, and she was like, oh yeah. It was how she was checking herself out in the mirror, and I happened to respond. She was like, oh yeah, you need to put that in your book. I immediately... because it's... matter of fact, there's a scene in issue 2 between my character of Trouble and the antagonist. I still don't want to say the name because I want people to read it. But that scene literally came about because of I was talking to my OG before she passed, and she was like, "Oh, a woman would say X, Y, and Z in this," and literally that was what kicked off the verbal fight for me because I was like, I sat back and I thought I was like, "Oh my God, you're right." And then knowing how my characters talk. Once I know the framework of what they're talking about, oh, that's easy for me. So you have my CV. So one of the things I went to grad school for was linguistics, which for a lot of people that don't know, means the study of language, like how people talk. Basically, it's breaking down dialects. So I have a really good ear for picking up dialects. So one of the things I love to do is I love to write in different dialects and different voices. So that's another thing that's easy for me. Okay, I got 7 different characters that talk 7 different ways.
Yeah.
So now it's real easy for me to write these characters because nobody sounds the same.
Right.
Like that's why, for instance, my character of
that's my favorite one.
like my character of Shift, for instance, she's from Texas. So I had to write her with a Southern Texas dialect.
Is there any Chicago girls?
Not in this book.
All right, go ahead and add me in there.
I love that. She ain't say it's in Chicago.
Go ahead and add me as a character from Chicago.
Let's go. The culture.
We ain't gonna. You got in trouble yesterday.
I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble again today.
I don't mean that in a flirting way. I'm just saying,
I get what you're saying. No,
you gotta
put a
have a
character in
Chicago
there.
gal. In there.
I have a couple so my phase 2 set of books and my phase 3 set of books. I have a couple of characters that are from Chicago. There's a character that's based on me. It's funny talking about characters and coming up with characters. So I created this character when I was 12 years old. It's a character based on me. And when I started getting into the comics and I realized I wanted to do this and do this particular book, I should have started with that character because that's a character I've literally had in my head since I was 12 years old. But as I started developing this series, it was one of those things where it grabbed me and it was like, no, this is what I have to do.
Okay.
So, little backstory. So before I release this book, I have another book that I'm changing up how I'm formatting it. It's called Blossom Bushido. So it's about a 12-year-old African-American young lady whose body is basically co-opted by a Meiji-era samurai and how they have to navigate and live through life. Yeah, so this is initially the book I was going to release. So my editor at the time, she was like, hey, that may not be, even though I know that's what you want to do, babe, that may not be the one that you need to come out with first. So after I got all my copyrights and stuff in, I literally on my IG, great, I got all my copyrights in. That means I can officially start promoting stuff. And literally on my IG that day, I got everything in. I put a promotional thing out for my first brigade, which is this, and I put something out for Blossom Bushido. And now me in my head, I'm like, man, this Blossom Bushido's gonna go hard.
It was the opposite.
It was the opposite. Everybody was like checking this out. So I literally was like, okay. I took a day because I really wanted to put that one out first. I took a day, I was like, well, I need to put this back in the oven because the format that I want to tell that story in doesn't work for this format.
Okay.
Because my stories are one and done, it's literally easy for me to just I can come up with 7 different comics and it's literally 7 different stories. Blossom Bushido is something that's a little bit more longer form storytelling. So I want to be able to package that in something that's more.
But that may be something you can blend in with Trouble and get it on the big screen.
Well, no, that's a completely different property. So that's something that's, I would say that's a little bit more adult. It has a little bit more of those things we were talking about as far as race and things like that. It's set in a completely different universe. That's a completely
different character?
Yeah, it's a completely different character.
So you got 121 characters.
No, I don't even count those characters because if I want to count those characters, it's probably because that book alone has another additional 15 to 20 characters.
Out of those, this is what I wanted to ask. Are all of them female or
no? I have male characters. So once I realized I had an all-woman cast, I figured, because this is something I also notice about woman-led comic book series. A lot of times they'll have a woman, whether it's in a team or individual group or individual, and most of their villains will be white guys or men in general. I felt, okay, nothing against that. That's a good dynamic, but it's been done to death. My thing is, sometimes the best characters are the villains. So I wanted to make cool-ass women villains. It's like, okay, if I got a bunch of superheroines, they should be opposed by something that's of equal or opposite force. So let me create some awesome, dope women characters. And yeah, I do have men that'll eventually pop up, but I figured with this series, we get enough pub anyway. Trust me, with my series, in my comics, we will have some more pub. But let me throw the shine. Let me shine some light on these women. Okay. And really focus on their world, because one of the things I made sure not to do, because I know I have a woman-led series, is not to have a lot of the stories revolve around men. Like
it's different now because it's mainly most of the characters do be men stories.
And then a lot of times
you don't want to put that.
If you read a lot of fiction in general, a lot of times a woman's story will revolve around a man in one way, shape, or form. So my thing is, my character, for instance, my character of Replica, she's married. I don't even mention that she's married until issue 2, and then her husband doesn't even pop up until. Spoiler alert, the next issue.
Okay, right.
But
right,
it's like it's a minor thing. It's just
it's
just a part of her life. It's not the end all be all of her life. Oh, I'm married, everything. Because I'm quite sure y'all have watched movies, television, where it's like that's the only single. It's like either a woman's looking for a man, she has a man, she's trying to keep him, or she's mad that she lost a man. And it's like I know women have much more stories than that, and I'm telling supergirls.
I mean, they got Silver Surfer. I mean,
but Silver Surfer,
now,
they had to gender switch Silver Surfer.
They did have to do that. I know. I'm just saying.
But that's gonna lead to him anyway because of.
But my thing is, I didn't feel the need to have to gender swap characters. I can say this wholeheartedly. None of my characters are stand-ins for anybody else's fucking characters. Excuse my language, but I don't have a female version of Superman on this team. I don't have a female version of Batman on this team. No, I have Major Intro. I have Friction. I have my own characters.
Right.
So if you come
they're
to my...
not replicating no one.
Yeah, they're not replicating. If anything, people will replicate my characters.
Okay.
And that's because in this space, this independent space, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody else that's doing what I'm doing because I know how hard it is. But one of the things that I usually have a gripe about as a black independent comic book maker is I see a lot of people that's doing the same thing, and what they do is they blackface white characters. Like they've been taking our shit and twisting it for years. So why am I gonna come take your shit and retwist it?
If I go there, if we go, I don't even want to go there with that part.
No, we gotta go there.
Okay, I'm gonna say this little part. I'm gonna say this one part.
Go ahead.
That part right there gets so deep and it gets so with the truth because the truth of that right there comes from X-Men got their whole name and their whole stories from a story based on a true story called Harriella X, which if I know, that it'll take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But if anybody does they research on Harriella X, you will know where X-Men came from. It came from black descendants.
Yeah.
And this is true story about real spiritual powers that happen. But that's a whole different story.
I've never heard no one put it like that.
To be the greatest artist is the greatest thief. So that's what Marvel know where they know.
They know what they doing.
They know their story and they know where their story come from.
But that's I never heard it being put like that where blackface and white character. I've never heard that like that. That's interesting.
Though.
Yeah, it's true, and that's
go ahead.
That's the thing that keeps me going. It's like, okay, how can I keep creating?
My bad.
No, y'all good. We wrapping up, but I want to just for everybody. How long have you been? Some years. How long have you been into the comic? Like as far as the LLC and
okay, so my LLC has been around since 2020.
Okay.
I published issue 1 at this point 2 years ago. Released issue 2 a couple of months after. Being a small independent company, I've had a few bumps in the road getting issue 3 out, but within the next couple of weeks, I will have issue 3. It's currently with the last member of my creative team, who currently, shameless plug, actually works for Marvel and DC.
Okay.
So my letter, which is the person, if you're unfamiliar with comics, if you ever read in the comic, the guy that the little word balloons, it's the person that literally puts the word balloons in my comics.
Okay.
So like they do word balloons, and then they do a little bit more. Usually, like if you ever see sound effects coming across the screen and things like that, they're also involved in that. But it's right now issue 3 is with that particular person. And I've been active for about 2 years. I go to conventions as often as I can, which is awesome because even with just 2 issues and the fact that I wrote them as standalone stories, I have 2 different stories to tell. And the one thing I love about going to conventions, and the one thing I always joke and say, comics and music are the same way. It's always somebody's first. So I can continuously sell the first issue, whether it's been out a year, 2 years, 10 years. There's somebody I can guarantee that hasn't read my comic.
Exactly.
Where can we find? Where are you selling them?
Okay, so you can find digitally. I have them on Amazon.com, GlobalComics.com. I currently have them physically at First Aid Comics, which is in Hyde Park, Cali Hat Comics,
Salute the
Graham Cracker Comics, Chicago Comics. You can also purchase them from me if you find me live.
Come on.
And then also I'm getting ready to start a TikTok page, a TikTok buying page where you can buy
That's a
my.
good idea.
my
Should have been done that.
Yeah.
So that you can find me digital. Like if you want digital copies, I would suggest going through Amazon or Global Comics. If you want physical copies, either my TikTok page once I have that up. Like I said, the few comic book stores that's in Chicago. I have them at a couple of stores in New York because I'm constantly traveling. Hey, if you want consignment, I got awesome books. It's a slow struggle, but it's progress.
So where do you see yourself for like in the next year? Where are you headed?
Next year, I will definitely have at least. Okay, so in comics, this is the one good thing and fun thing about comics. It's all about the resale value. So right now, I'm selling individual issues. Within the next year, I should have at least 6 to 8 issues done, and then I can repackage the first 6 issues in what's known as a graphic novel. I can resell that. I can resell it. But outside of just from the physical publishing standpoint, the creative side, I have another book that's a part of this series that by that point, I should be either promoting or releasing. I'm literally working with another artist on it as we speak, but with comics, sometimes you don't want to promote things too soon, and then also just me being a storyteller, it's a particular place within this story, and with that story comes in. So I want to make sure I give everything its right amount of space and breadth to be able to tell the stories I want to tell.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I want to see Trouble on the big screen.
I'm
my soul, I
Trouble.
do.
That's my character, Trouble.
Yeah, I see. Salute the Trouble.
Yes,
Well,
And whole first began.
this is great. You won me over. I'm not a comic person, but
seriously.
this is nice.
You done been one over
I love
Brooklyn.
it.
Comic-Con, Comic Complex.
It's girlies.
Y'all watch out,
It's the
man.
girlies for
Marvel
me.
Comics, DC,
Yeah, y'all watch out.
Image.
I'm coming for y'all.
Milestone.
And you
y'all.
gotta come back too.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you gotta
Yeah.
come
Yeah,
back.
yeah. I feel like we hadn't even really touched the surface.
I know.
It's like
That's what I was
Well,
It's like
you know
first
what?
piece
told
of
you
layers.
that.
I see it.
I
It's more
that.
layers to
But
it.
you know what you did? You took us through a lot of storytelling.
You did,
and
man.
I was interested.
did.
I was all ears. So you got the platform.
I appreciate that.
And this was so informative. Like
Yes.
it's a whole nother. I've looked at this cover. We got, but two
Yeah,
of
you
these
get-
is
yeah.
ours. We
Yeah.
got.
I'm scared to open it. That's how good they are.
I looked at this
he,
cover.
He gave. I'm like, nah. I just don't
Hundreds
want
of
to know.
times I done looked at
Okay,
it,
so-
and not one time have I
I'm
been
scared
like,
to open
damn.
it.
Okay,
these
so
are
I got
all
women.
one more quick thing about
Go ahead.
the cover I gave you.
Go
So
ahead,
I was
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about Milestone Comics, right?
Yeah.
So this artist worked for Milestone. He does work for Milestone now. His name is Chris Cross. So as a kid, he was the artist of Blood Syndicate. I talked about Blood Syndicate being my favorite Milestone book.
Yeah.
He was the artist on Blood Syndicate. So years ago, Chef A knows this story. So years ago when I was putting together the book, so this is something a lot of people don't know about comics. So usually with first issues, what you do is to try to sell more, you do variant covers. So this is my main cover, and then I have 2 variants. So I had my main cover already ready with my main artist. I got the second cover because I knew the guy that he did my art. So it was easy for me to ask him to do it. So the third one was my pipe dream. I was like, because it's literally on my list of people I wanted to work with in the industry. I was like, man, it'd be cool if I can get Chris Cross to do something for me. So on his Instagram page, he was like, hey, I'm open for commission. And my eyes lit up. And at the same time, I got nervous as fuck, right? Because I'm trying to send this man this email, and I'm like gushing like a fan. Oh my God. I had to sit back, and I was in A's car one day, and we were sitting, drinking, smoking, probably doing things I shouldn't be doing. And I was like, you know what? I got to look at this as like a businessman. Yeah. So I literally went upstairs, back to my computer, and I wrote this real, just formal, hey, I'm trying to hire this, that, third. I did mention that I was a fan of his, but it was literally just, this is strictly business. And then this is a Friday, I sent this out. And then that Saturday, I was sick to my stomach. Like, I'm like, in not terms, oh my God, what if he says no? What if this man doesn't respond? Yada, yada, yada. So, like, that whole Saturday, I didn't leave the house. I, like, didn't leave my room. I'm, like, sick to my stomach, nervous. Sunday morning, it's like super early in the morning, I get an email. Crisscross. Oh, yeah, I like the idea. So, yeah, I have another thing I'm working on, but I'd be willing to postpone that and work on your stuff.
Wow.
What?
That's super dope.
So I'm like, yeah, at this point, now I'm going from like nervous to super like, holy shit, this dude said yes.
Confident.
So, and then he was like, all right, and yeah, this is the price for the cover. Did I have the money for the price of the cover?
Probably not.
Hell no, but I got it. I found that money. I sent it off, right? So I sent it off to him, right? Cool. I got this on lock. And then so I had came up with concepts for the other two covers. So that's a cover from X-Men. Yeah. The other cover was like an idea from an anime that I was a fan of. Yeah. And so initially my goal was I was going to ask him to do a cover that was a variation of a Blood Syndicate cover. And I was like, I'm not paying this man X amount of money to do some shit he's already done.
Yeah.
So I started getting creative. So what a lot of people don't know about this particular cover, this is actually me and my group of friends.
Dope.
Like from back in our 20s, we're sitting on a
on the fire escape.
We're literally sitting on a fire escape. And how I sent it to him, I sent him the picture and I basically sent him my characters and I was like, this character is in this because all of me and my friends, we exuded the same emotion that my characters that they showing.
That's
so
hard.
Most people think, oh, you took your friends.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. And
that's
so
I like it.
So
like
yeah, with Chris,
because it got that.
I like both of
It
those.
got that New York East Coast.
And that's what it is. It's got that
though.
East Coast thing. So like when I came up with that, and because he was like, man, I've never done a cover like this. It's like it's so creative. I'm like, I know. So I can guarantee, in 2-3 years, if you see somebody with this, they stole it from me. If you see anybody with a cover that's got anybody on a fucking like, they stole it from me.
But to be the greatest artist is to be the greatest
stealer. Yeah. So like my thing is, please steal it.
Steal it.
Because you know
where you got it from. You know where you got it from.
So yeah, that was really the idea of that cover. And that came talking about Marvel DC real quick. So a lot of y'all don't know, Marvel back in the early 2000s started doing the hip hop covers. Where they would take old hip hop album covers, like Tribe Called Quest, like the first Ready to Die, they got one. And so when I first started working on First Brigade, I had a similar concept. This cover was originally going to be the Wu-Tang cover.
Okay.
Marvel beat me to it. And I didn't want to be like, oh, when I did my concept, I didn't want people to initially think, oh, you biting Marvel's idea. Yeah. Even though I came up with this shit not even thinking about Marvel. Just I'm a B-boy. Like I wanted to include so I started thinking retroactively, okay, if they're doing the hip hop covers, how can I show my love and do something a little different? So, like I said, this is literally issue 11 of X-Men. It's the last issue Jim Lee ever did of X-Men. If you look up that cover, you'll see something a variation.
I know, and I know who was upside down. I'm already know. I can see it. I already know who that is.
This is another one. This is another deep cut. So
that's the one I seen on. That's the one. The first one I seen for First Brigade.
So this one is a cover from a Batman and Robin run that one of my favorite writers, Grant Morrison, did. So this version of Batman and Robin, Dick Grayson was Batman, Damian Wayne was Robin.
Okay.
So, and it flipped the dynamic, and the cover was basically them standing in front of the Batmobile. It's a simple cover, but I always thought it went hard. And then when I was doing this cover or this particular issue, knowing who I had in the issue, I was like, Trouble is my version of Robin. She's she's that type of person.
That's my
And then
so we need a Trouble movie or a whole comic series.
Oh, trust me, and this series alone, because funny thing about this issue, when I was initially writing this issue, I didn't think the dynamic was going to be Trouble and the antagonist. I thought it was going to be Replica and the antagonist. But creativity, I let my creativity take over as I was writing the issue, and I got to, I think it was like page 10 or 11, and I started writing the dynamic between the two characters. I was like, oh shit, no, the dynamic is between these two. That's why the rest of the issue kind of flows the way it does, because it's a Trouble issue. And when I wrote that issue, I subsequently wrote the follow-up to that issue. So there is a rematch.
Okay.
There is a rematch.
Do you have any desire though to write a storytelling character that could be all over the big screen? Do you have a desire to do that? Or are you
Okay,
just interested in-
so here's the thing about me and a writer. So not only do I already have like a couple of I have at least 10 years worth of stories written for First Brigade and everything else around it.
Wow.
Okay.
However, I also have cartoon scripts already ready for this because that's with this particular book. I definitely see it more animated
Okay.
because I would love to be able to get a lot of different black, brown voices to do and this is another reason I'm not so adamant to do superheroes as live action. The market is oversaturated at the moment.
Yeah.
Cartoons is still an untapped field. You can sell cartoons to kids, adults in this country, beyond. It's like there's always going to be a need.
But
for that.
yours is different.
I know that,
with all
but
the characters. I feel like I would
but
wanna
although
see this.
they are different in this climate, in this American climate, if I try to pitch this to a studio, the first thing they're gonna want to do is they're gonna want to get rid of some of these women. They're gonna want to add men to this group. Perfect example.
But we're in a good time and where women are kind of dominating, right?
And I can tell you based on some of Marvel's own franchises how they change shit up just to appease men.
Is Marvel the only?
Marvel's
company
not, but
you can
here's the
offer
thing.
that?
So you got Marvel producing multiple movies a year. You got DC producing multiple movies a year. That's at least off the top of my head. Let's just say if Marvel's doing 3 movies a year, DC's doing that's at least 6 superhero movies with whether it's teams or so. After a while, hell, fandom gets tired of whether it's a new property or old property. They get tired of the same formula, and unless I'm doing something completely different, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm not. It's not like I'm remaking the wheel. I just have a different angle on superheroes than everybody else.
But if somebody gave you the budget and they said, let's bring something different to the screen,
If
would you
the
accept
only
it?
way that would happen is if they give me carte blanche, give me the money, and get the hell out of my way.
So you wouldn't want the extra.
If you give me the money and tell me, okay, you got a blank check to tell the story the way you want to tell it, in the form you want to tell it, yes. But if you give me the money and say, okay, we give you the money, but it's going to
Change trouble up.
a lot of times it's with some caveats. It's like, okay, since I'm the executive producer, I want you to do this with this character. Or since I'm the executive producer, I want you to add this thing to the story.
Right.
No, like I own the rights to these characters for a reason. Like there's like so. I would rather go my route, take my time. Like I said, I'm building my company, be able to do all of these things myself. With First Brigade and any
It's
of the
given Tyler Perry.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I like part of me. I had to study creativity and writing and things like that. But the other half of me, I had to study business. So there's a part of me that's always gonna look at things from a creative standpoint. But there's a bigger part of me that's always gonna look at it from the business standpoint. And just like not only looking at comics, but at this day and age, it's about getting your attention. It's about you're basically trying to get people to, whether it's 15 minutes, a couple of hours.
Laws of attraction.
Right. You trying to get people's attention. My comic books, it may take 5-10 minutes to read through my comics, but that's 5-10 minutes of your attention that I was able to get. So how do I keep retaining your attention? And I know I have a product that's a little bit different, or a lot bit different from even my own peers. And so I like standing on that idea. So, and then also I've had help along the way, but I've had to do this shit myself. So as I keep pushing and grinding, at this point, I can't say, okay, yeah, you may give me a bag of money, but I can't let you tell me how to do this. I'd rather get my own big bag of money and do it the way I want to do it.
I'd rather die on my own sword. I'd rather say I did it my own
way. Yeah. And and First Brigade and any of my superhero stuff, I don't necessarily see as live action. But like I said, I was talking about Blossom Bushido, which is more, I would say it has to deal with more mythology and like African mythology, Asian mythology, things like that. Now, I definitely see that as something that's more live action because in my mind, I envision my lead character starting at the age of 12 and you see her developing into the age of 18. And kind of the things in her life that, not just all the craziness, but all the things that may go on in her life over that time period. And I can definitely see that working as like a longer form live action series. It's just the way I write it. But this, I'll be honest, with doing superheroes, especially unless you have a amazing budget, trying to do special effects on the cheap does not look good. So at worst, if I do it as animation, as long as my animators can draw it, I have an unlimited budget as far as
that makes
special effects. And that's the reason I love doing comics. I literally can blow shit up from page 1 to page 30, and it's not gonna cost me no more than it would cost me to have my artists literally have 2 characters sitting and talking for the same amount of time.
All right. All right, so y'all need to check out First Brigade. First of all, so insightful.
My favorite cover. That's my
so insightful. The only comic book maker I know, writer and publisher. Not only that, but black comic book publisher. And I don't like, always, throwing no race card in it, but it's, we got to give flowers what flowers is due. You feel me? Because it's a saturated market.
Yes, it is.
And it's a lot of reasons why a lot of those cartoons we grew up watching, like Static Shock, and a lot of that, there's a lot of that shit ain't being syndicated or rerun or none of that.
At all.
It's hard to find that. So, we gotta give flowers with due.
Yeah, for sure.
Michael Q. Boyd, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Brother. The culture, 67 Social. Not only am I a fan of your craft, man, but I'm also a fan of your artwork and your craft.
Appreciate it.
Brother, blessings go out
Y'all
beyond
better pick
to
up
you.
First Brigade.
Go pick up First Brigade, man. This is...
Brooklyn, where can we find you? Let everybody know.
Okay, so you can find me through Bunny Pop Press at IGN or TikTok. You can also find me on IG as Mike 3. Yeah, I got a lot of different names.
Let's go. Let's go.
I saw the followers. I was like, okay, Mike, Bunny Pop.
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
You was reaching out, I was responding.
Better known as Brooklyn Bridge.
You
know what I'm talking about?
You know?
Better known as Brooklyn in the building. But
man.
when I'm writing and producing.
Pleasure, man.
Yeah, brother. Blessings go out beyond to you, man. You already know. 67 Social. The culture.
Thank you.
Man, y'all already know what it is.
Y'all
It's
know
so
what it
good to
is,
see us
man.
get so good. Y'all can be anywhere in the world. Y'all right here with us.
That's right.
Hey, Toya, V City, Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
Love y'all like cook food,
I
no
was gonna
question.
say that.
Culture. I had to take your words. I take his words. I don't be on here that long, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to have this man. Like I say, this is my first time, man, being on the platform with upcoming with Toya.
Yeah.
And man, most definitely, man, with V City, man, you already know how we do. But Toya, most definitely outstanding, great soul. We appreciate you.
Outstanding.
Brooklyn, we appreciate you, dog.
Appreciate y'all.
You already
No,
know. We
Michael,
waiting on you. We already waiting on you. Cook up.
Michael Quan
know that.
Boyd.
Michael
we
Quan
appreciate
Boyd.
Come on, baby. Right, yeah. We don't know what name he might. We don't know what name he might. You know what I'm saying?
All right, y'all. We out of here.
We out here, man.
Host. Go.
Yes, sir. Oh, that was so